Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Tea with a Druid, brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. And you're very welcome. And this time it's been recorded on the lovely island of Ibiza. It's beautifully hot and sunny, and it's really a pleasure to be with Susie Pearl, who I met last night at a party. And and it was a lovely meeting of minds, and it was just so we had such an interesting talk last night. I said, would you like to come on and do a tea with a druid? And she kindly said yes. So here's the thing: we're going to chat for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have a meditation. But Susie and I are going to carry on talking. And so you can flip over to the URL that I'll give in the notes if you want to hear more, because Susie has an extraordinary story to tell, and it relates to all of us, because we all know that at some point we have to leave this physical world. But what we all dread, of course, is to receive a terminal diagnosis. It's just such an awful thought, and many of us will have friends and loved ones who have already received a terminal diagnosis or a diagnosis of cancer, and it's just such a worrying thing to experience. But so I'd love you to hear now Susie's story. Susie, tell me what happened.
Well, about 5 years ago, I started forgetting things. I couldn't remember where I'd parked my car. My friends were getting a bit worried. And then one day I was going to meet a friend in a cafe that we go to most days. I couldn't remember the way. And she said, I'm really worried about you. You're acting strange. Let's get you checked out. And I went, no, it's fine. I will be fine. She dragged me. She's a very strong woman. And she dragged me off to the hospital. And immediately they gave me an MRI scan. And I was diagnosed with brain cancer. A very humongous tumour in my head, which was inoperable. And after more checks and fantastic work with doctors, they said, you probably have about 3 weeks to live. So you need to get organised, you need to get your family here, and you need to make arrangements. So I was sitting with a diagnosis of being alive for perhaps another 3 weeks. Very profound, poignant moment in my life, and really sharpened my thinking. But the amazing thing was that I wasn't scared by this. I felt more connected than ever to this big force that exists around us, and I began getting excited about what was next, really. And what was next was a most extraordinary journey that I could not have predicted.
Tell us about it.
I'm a meditator. I meditate every day. TM meditation's my thing. And in hospital, I thought, okay, I'm going to do all the things that I know to get better. I'm going to pray. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to imagine. I'm going to meditate regularly. I'm going to ask to get through this. I'm a single mum with I had a small boy, and he needed me around. So one day I began meditating in my hospital in a bedroom in Ibiza town, and I had this very strong intuition came to me that today you're going to die. I was like, okay, and it was a truthful drop in of that information. I knew that was going to be true. I went and told a nurse. She went, Susie, don't worry, we've got you covered. I said, please look after me today, please keep an eye on me. And I think they thought, I was acting a little crazy. Let's be honest, I was. With this huge tumour in my brain, I thought everything is possible. I thought I kept telling her, I'm going to get out of here. And they were like, oh, bless her, she really does think that. We know differently, sort of thing. And then I sat on my bed, and as I began to meditate, I felt this movement of what I can describe as my spirit coming through my body, up and then out the top of the crown of my head. And I was at one with the universe. It was beautiful. It was the most cosmic journey and beautiful journey that I have ever had. I now know what was happening to me was a near-death experience, an NDE, which I'd never heard of. Subsequently, I've done a lot of research on it. It's very well documented. science studies around it, and many books have been written about it, and it's scientifically shown that this is a thing. And I had a lot of the features of NDE. When I came back, I had no fear. I didn't worry. I had no fear about anything. But anyway,
so you felt you left your body.
I left my body and I went up out of my body, and I was looking down on my body.
Right.
So I was separate.
Yeah.
And I went on this, and I felt like I was some sort of, it was like gaseous, not confined by the body.
Your sort of consciousness was dispersed through the cosmos, sort of thing.
I was still aware. I had my consciousness intact, of course, but I didn't have a container. So I was free to go. And I was shown the big concept of the universe, which for me looked like a beautiful night sky with galaxies beyond. And I realized that our space in this beautiful world is just tiny.
Yeah.
And there are these this incredible system that is beyond our capability to understand how vast this system is. So I got a perspective, and I got some big lessons when I was out of my body. And then I was given a choice. I was told telepathically, you have a choice. You can come back to your body and live your life and continue, or you can stay here. And staying here, the place that I was in, was glorious. It was heaven. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was beautiful, full of love, an energy of everything being golden and wonderful, versus going back into this hard place, which is the planet. But I'm, as I mentioned, I'm a mum, and for me, I had to come back and
be with your son,
be with my son, see him grow up, and hold his hand. That's all I wanted to do. So if that hadn't been the case, I probably would have stayed, but I chose to come back. And in a moment, Philip, there was a white flash, bam, I was back. In a moment. As soon as I set the intention, I want to be back, and there is no time up there actually, but instantaneously I was delivered to my body. Now, the extraordinary thing that happened was my first MRI scan. As I was going into the scanner, I had this golden orb that came around me, which was so comforting. And I asked the question in my mind, what's going on here? What is this story? And I was told this story, I'm getting shivers as I'm telling you, the story is about you as a writer, you will be writing a book about this experience, and you'll be inspiring others about the potential for healing, what happens when we die, and it's beautiful. And I was told very clearly that you will have 3 scans, and this is exactly how it unfolded. The first scan will be bad news, serious news. The second scan, the thing will have shrunk and become a little better. The third scan, you are clear and you are out of here, scot-free. You are out. So, and I believed this. This was golden angels talking to me. I'd not met in such a profound way such energy before. And I was in a very elevated state. You know, I was on meds. I was very hyper, manic, if you like, but joyously manic. And speaking very fast, and I'd be phoning everyone and going, "Oh, hi, I'm getting better. And people would think, "Oh my goodness, she's really lost it now."
Yes. Yeah.
And so I had this first scan. The doctor came back and said, "It's a big tumor. It's not good. Not good news. 3 weeks. Make arrangements." And I wasn't surprised. My family, of course, was shocked and like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to lose her." I was fine, and I was happier than ever. And then the second scan, it had shrunk, and the third scan I had after my near-death experience where I left my body. I had a third scan, and the doctor came in and said, "I have been in oncology for many years." He's one of the world's leading oncology doctors. And he said, "I've never seen anything like this. There's no scar tissue, fully healed, full remission."
And how long ago was this?
This is 5 years.
5 years ago. Wow.
And, you know, here I am, writing books, talking to you, living this lovely life here, feeling fantastic with extraordinary wisdom that I got. I've always been interested in, excuse me, the universal wisdom of life, what life is about, the magic of life. I've always been intrigued by consciousness and spent a lot of my time looking at mind, the mind, the power of the mind, and so on. But what it did really was consolidate things I knew already, but I had the experience of it, the fact that we are all connected, we are all one. I saw that very clearly, and that if whatever, and my words are powerful, my intentions are powerful, we are all connected, and what I do to another impacts the whole. And so these kind of fundamental things I discovered. I also discovered how to live without fear, because fear disappeared instantly. There's nothing. If I'm not worried about death, there's nothing to worry about. What is that? I mean, there is obviously the day-to-day stuff, but I choose not to worry. I choose to trust and surrender to that.
That's fantastic. Let's talk more. Let's drop now into a meditation, and then having heard this, Susie talking, if you'd like to learn more, pop over to the longer chat that we're going to have. But thank you so much, Susie, and that's a beautiful sort of segue, I think, into a meditation that we can perhaps do about, which has as its theme, if you like, this sense of connection, this sense that actually we're all one and we're all connected. And the way that we do this in Tea with the Druid is sensing ourselves within a sacred grove, a clearing of trees in the forest, where we can sense ourselves feeling connected, first of all to the earth and then to each other. So let's begin by just allowing our awareness of our present circumstances just to gently recede a little as we become aware of being seated on the land. And this can be in any way you like. You might sense yourself being seated in a forest. For us here in Ibiza, it might be a different kind of landscape, but we're seated on the land. And just feel the energy of the earth now. And all the life in this earth, all the millions of microorganisms and creatures, the stones and crystals, the minerals, the soil, and the moisture. A whole wonderful universe. And it's supporting us. We're seated on it. And we're aware of a light breeze, of the trees around us. And we sense how the trees are living beings, rooted firmly in the soil, their branches reaching out into the sky, providing us with shade. And we give thanks for these beings, the energy and the inspiration of these beings. And we breathe in the energy of the sky. And the energy of the sky flows into our being, and it meets the energy of the earth within the center of ourselves. Breathing in the vitality and the energy of the sky. Meeting that grounded, healing energy of the earth within the center of our beings. And then you might like now to sense how at this moment hundreds of us all around the world are actually meditating together. And perhaps you can sense in the circle other beings, fellow travelers, and indeed perhaps other beings too from the other world, supporting us, helping us, our friends. And in this sense of community, of connection, you might like to imagine that your hands are gently drifting out and holding the hand of the person to either side of you, so that we're seated now in a circle of love and connection. Just opening to that sense of connection. And this circle widens until it becomes the circle of stars around us, the whole cosmos, all connected. Every star a conscious being, united in love with every other star. And bringing the sense of oneness and wholeness back into our awareness now of being seated in the circle. We give the hand to either side of us a little gentle squeeze, and we might like to sense our hands drifting up to our hearts. You may even want to do that physically with your physical hands, and you feel the warmth in your heart, knowing that your heart is connected to all being, to all beings. And then asking that all life may be blessed, all lives may be blessed, and may the land be blessed too. And then we gradually allow our awareness of being seated in the circle to gently fade as we become aware of being seated wherever we are in front of our screens, fully present, here and now. And when you feel ready, you open your eyes. So Susie, I wanted to say I feel very blessed to have met you. I'm so glad. When I go to parties, there's the little dormouse inside me that sort of thinks, oh, I'll just slip back home, really. There are all these new faces, people I don't know, and what do I do? Standing around with my drink, trying to make small talk. But suddenly there we were, sitting next to each other, talking about near-death experiences and other cosmic matters. And so I said to Susie, come round tomorrow and let's make a little film in this lovely finca that we're staying in. Our friend Estella has lived in for years. So have a lovely week, a really blessed and lovely week. And Susie and I will carry on chatting, and we might see you on over there, wherever it is. But otherwise, have a great week. Lots of love and many blessings. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.